If you don't like a lot of people in your life and you don't like a lot of people, or someone is very irritating, they're a nuisance, you live in a neighborhood where it's a bunch of kids that are, getting on your nerves. A great way for people to leave you alone? Talk about the Bible. As flippant as that sounds, it's true. When you talk about the Bible or anything religious related, people leave you alone mostly. Like, I think about my channel. I'm glad that I started a new page, but everybody on that other channel mostly is not watching this content. I'm sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that. Everybody on the old channel, for the most part, is not watching this content I'm producing because either a few things: it doesn't interest them. They're You can't serve two. And let me explain what I'm trying to say. You can't serve two masters. So if you're so indulged in the wrong things, it's going to be foreign to you to watch any content that talks about Jesus or God. Or maybe they're just so lost spiritually they don't want to hear anything about that. But a good way for people to leave you alone, when you talk about the Bible, people can't tolerate hearing it. They can't listen to it. It it's like it reminds me of this it was this cartoon I was watching. Well, actually, recently, this is kind of blasphemous, but one of these knuckleheads made this cartoon where Jesus was in the he was walking with one of his friends, and he was like it's not funny, but he just said that your mom is hot. And well, it first started off with he was saying things about Mary, Mother Mary. It's just a joke. It was a little blasphemous, but it was like saying this about Mother Mary. He was like, dude, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear anything about my mom. That's gross. And he kept saying these things about his mother. He was like, la 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 la. I don't want to hear it. He was holding his ears. And that's how people get when you talk about the Bible. They will leave you alone. And these are the three reasons why they they're so indulged in the madness that they engage in their own life, and they don't want to hear anything about. This is one thing about Jesus too. Jesus reminds you in a good way that you need to stop doing the things you're doing right now. That's the first thing. Like, people know, like some people say it's really no right or wrong. But if you second guess the things you do, you know that it's wrong. Sometimes your heart tells you what's right or wrong. Culture does, society does. But mostly, when you second guess anything, I don't second guess the Holy Spirit. I know what I'm doing is the right thing. But when you second guess yourself, you know you're not doing the right thing. So that's why I believe people don't like listening to anything about Jesus or the Bible because they have to then second guess the things they're already doing. Like, if most of the content you consume is about like strippers, right? And I talk about Jesus, you would have to then ponder on, should I really be doing this? But you don't want to hear it because you're so far gone spiritually, and that's what God will do if you reject Him. If you stop, if you if you cease your relationship with God, He will allow you to indulge in whatever it is you engage in. He will allow you to fall deep into it, where this is what you identify as, or this is what you put all your time and attention to. So that's one reason why people don't want to hear about Jesus. Um, I don't want to call nobody a demon, but when I was looking at those pride, like preachers going on like pride parades, and just how wicked a lot of those people were. Like I remember this one guy was he smashed the guy's camera. He didn't break the camera, but he smashed the guy's camera just preaching, just talking. Now if he was some 300-pound man dancing around with Daisy Dukes on somebody's car with no shirt on and nipple rings on, yeah, he'll he'll applaud something like that. But when you talk about the word, it's just like you're public enemy number one. But yeah, I looked at that parade. A lot of them just sound like the devil, man. Like, why are you preaching this? We're just all trying to have fun. But like I said, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to hear about Jesus because it reminds you. And listen, when I say this, it reminds you the things that you do. You know they're not right. Jesus reminds us these things. That's why you don't want to hear about Jesus, because it reminds you that, yeah, this stuff I do ain't right. But that's the point I'm making. That's when I realized everything that I do in my life that I did, it didn't matter. And that's why I left all those things, and I left all those things after my birthday, because those things don't matter. The only thing that matters is Jesus.